Right on. Okay, so some stock. I'm probably just going to do like 10 kind. We'll see how far we get through them all, but definitely look at the big guys. So starting off with Apple here, you can see that it's having issues with the 190, just shy of $200. You can see it's rejected this area a few times now as of today. The markets are now closed, but today it also rejected at $196. So this tells me it's obviously very bullish, even though it's extremely overpriced. But looking at the other averages, very, but clearly it is having an issue higher than 196. I would wait for it to at least break, fill this zone, be hit 197, 198, and have a more full candle, because the whole level of $196 it's holding it too well. I want to buy it. So I would look at, maybe finding an area below here, kind of like here. 4-hour candles. So this is your support zone. So if price comes down into this area, you're looking for a buy. It stays above these moving averages. 4-hour move, still way above it. So that's it needs a little bit more momentum in order to push the next level. To break it, look at it on the last week, it was a very weak candle. Better. I don't see it really breaking lower yet, even though it's extremely overpriced. If you want to look at some financial, the PE ratio at 32, even for the stocks. But keep buying it. I know that it might obviously continue up. So I would wait for purchase more apples. I would wait, either let it come into the more and close more, like at least close above this 6 level, or come into this area at 3 below and see if it rejects it. Either way, that would be a good buying opportunity. Until then, that's Apple. Moving on to Airbnb, you can see that it's very bullish. The other ones, all these stocks seem to be very bullish. Scary to me, but like that, they go up, last forever. So yeah, looking at Airbnb, I guess like what I would wait for is I don't think there's areas over here in the weekly. It's quite a bit up, $17. There's tons of room for it going up, but I would wait for pullback area. This looks pretty well. Wait for it to come down to 147. Buy a long put and target this 170. I think it's a healthy trade. I can still ride out the bullish momentum by stopping it until then. I mean, this week was very bullish. Last week was very bullish. There's no real areas until you get up 170 area. So looking at this, I would say it's still a clean buy. 172 level, so you can still get another $20 out of it. You can buy it now or wait till 47, like this little area here. Came down to here, buy more and ride out that long put. Airbnb is done. Adobe, gonna do these in alphabetical order. So Adobe here, but I clearly did mark out this zone a long time ago. You can see that it is rejecting this area. This week candle filled more into this zone, but it still has not broken. So it is something to be mindful of. Price likes to gravitate towards whole numbers. So it's kind of the whole number we're working with. It's having a tough time breaking that 520 area, but you're right here, which seems to be maintaining it. So it's staying above 514 to break 529. So it's a little bit stagnant. Going back to the weekly, candle is bullish. It's good. Bull financials though, terrible. 49, it's ridiculous, overpriced. I mean, that always scares me, buying overpriced things. I know it can still continue to go up, and it probably will, but the disciplined trader in me, I don't want to buy anything overpriced, and I don't want to sell anything undervalued. So that's just kind of how I operate. Based on this, I would say you could still buy it. I mean, today, Friday, closed with a bullish engulfing. It seems to be respecting support areas. I would say it's still a clean buy. For the target would be some here. It's kind of the next area of resistance. So all the way up to 529 to 570 and buy. If you bought it now, it'd be good. If you bought it when it comes down, if it came down to 14, it'd be a good buy. Obviously, you would still want it to respect this area. If it broke this area, then that would kind of end the trade. It respects this area. That's Adobe. Oh, the good old AMCs. I have not looked. Let's see. So, price is below this moving average. That tells me bearish. I mean, it is pretty much bankrupt. Let's see. Just want to look at their financials quick here. Not profitable. Very not profitable. Losing money. Yeah, I don't know what. So looking at these technical, there's this massive gap, and now it's filled the gap pretty much back downwards. Looking for personally, I would never buy this stock. Understand that the guys on Reddit like it. I understand you can swing trade this pretty good up and down and get money because there's momentum comes in, really carries the price. Not my type of trading, but I'll still analyze it. This looks to be an area of resistance, support, I guess, to buy it. Between about 433 and 423 looks to be a good area to buy. I've put this on a bigger time for see that it's actually kind of respected for now. This is obviously, I would not buy it, but I understand people are. I would look to sell it as higher. If it starts moving higher, like obviously this area was perfect, around the $6 area, what price did gap and then sold off. I would just keep a short position. basically anytime price goes above this moving average, your next short position here. I mean, ton of data here to really determine that, but I think as long as you are stock for the long term, I think better off than buying it and to catch quick little upward moves. But I would look for anytime price crosses it's close to it, clearly making its way down. It'll probably come back to this zone, maybe test this, and then maybe test this $4 range, and then bounce back up. It'll probably do something like this, and then look for a short 525, 530, short it. Because I do believe this, it might take a long time, might sit stagnant for a long $3. I think that it'd back and with all the Reddit forum stuff. So that's AMC. AMD here. So does not like this one. Bullish, still very bullish, but having issues with the one. Breaking it down a little. You might get a good buy. It comes down to this 110 and price loves whole number. $110. It is a buy here, and honestly just target 20. So I wouldn't target any higher because it is rejecting this area, so lower. Before price made this zone, now it won't even make it. So 120 is high now, whereas before it was low. So I would look for a trade like this. I would wait for supply zone, this 100 and target 120. You can see on the daily, it's really having a tough time getting above this 120. My trade would look something like this for AMD for a buy. I mean, very bullish. It's way above this, the daily moving average, 4-hour moving. I do believe it's still a good buy. These are your parameters: $110 to 120. Stop. If you're going to use a stop, you set it below this area, below 108 kind of thing, and that would be trade. If you go over the fund earnings, are this PE ratio 4.6. It's about 20 times over price. Not good, but still bullish. Price comes down to this area that's rejecting, then I think you're good for a buy. And then if it doesn't seem like it has enough momentum to push up to 120, you can always get out early. It is what it is. Enter that buy, and I gotta do AMD, Amazon, giant one. So at this, go over to it. It is at a bit of it was down now, and now you have, but looking at this weekly, kind of, it's wicking pretty hard below 130, so like this. Yeah, so if you look at it on a week perspective, anytime it came down back in the price, it's held above. So even though it's having issues higher, it's having more issues. It's way above. I don't even want to look at this very over. It could still continue up. So with that being said, I would upper area here. If it's respecting thing below this 128 level, like this, just below this area here, 28, target 35, up here at 140, 44, like that. Excellent trade. I think the buying moment is still there for Amazon stock. It did struggle to go higher, but it's having so I would ride the bullish momentum out. It's still in here. It's very bullish. You have no reason to continue with the long positions and buy this, and I would target 44 area. Get bad in between then. Take your profits 35. If I'm dying, just take your profits here. And so that is it. We'll look at the microseconds. So in a long time, so up here, looking at my C, you can see that there is bottom then respect here. So anything below it, obviously massive new highs in back since, but you can get a bit. Price action is really bad on one time frame like it is on this daily here. Sometimes you move above 356. Anything above 346 on the week has been. It is rejected on the weekly below 330. So between 330 and is kind of where it would be. So I think this, you can always stay flat. Like you don't have to take a trade. You never have to take a trade. And sometimes that is the better option. Because this is rejecting so many times. Back in November 21, it was the same. It hasn't broken above the 346 level and on the weekly. Granted, this last week, as of today, this candle did touch down in the 331 zone and back, so there are bottoms still. Again, never broken above 3. And the finance 34 price P ratio is very high. This is super overpriced stocks. But still go up, obviously it hasn't because it's rejecting 346 and it's done it. Right now, if I was to buy it at this area, as long as price rejected, you might be good to buy it and then target 340. But as far as targeting higher than 36, I wouldn't, because if you go back to the super rigid, it doesn't like going above 36. So because of that, I would not target. But you could target something like this, get a 3R kind of thing, get in for a quickish trade. But other than that, I don't too risky get above 3 side. Financials are not in it. It's very held above 3. That tells me that you buying and trying to that's Microsoft, another overpriced company, of course. These tech ones are. But looking at crazy, but it hasn't had a bad month. Every single highly, but still looked. But you don't have any prices. It's at all times risky where it's going to gravitate. But neither does anybody else, so they might just keep buying it. It's a massive gap on earnings. Need to go up. So you could continue to buy this. I'll try to find a zone of the best to buy it at. This would be your best bet. But who knows if it come down here. It did a 5R here. Shoot for 480. Buy it at like 443. If price came down here, you can see that it is making higher. Sorry, it's more highs. So this previous high came down, a lower high. You can wicks forming. So that tells me a lower first. So I wouldn't be looking to buy it yet, but I would come down to this zone and that somehow this is over $1 trillion with only 6. That is horrible. Oh well, I guess that is what it is. You gotta make money. You don't have to be okay with the evaluation. You just have to make. I would wait for price to come down to 443 and enter a long 480 higher. It's Nvidia. So Google now. I don't know, I drew time ago, but clearly it did its price. Very bullish, massive. The price was rejecting this area for a long time. I would say Google is very bullish, all the way up somewhere around the 140 level. Good buy now. I've been better, perfect. So wait for price to pull back to 30. Up here, pretty good trade. I wouldn't buy it yet. I mean, you could, but odds are to pull back a bit. So you could buy some on Monday, or if it date more, dollar a bit better. If not, just wait till then. Take your full target 141. I think that's an end trade. I think Google's still doing well. I actually still overpriced, but 27's a bit better. PE ratio trillion, but at least the revenue 280 billion, at least 6 higher than the market cap is roughly 6 times higher than. It's still crazy, not as bad as like Nvidia. So Google is a good buy below 29. Hold it 31. Good to go with that. Tesla, everyone's out. Don't remember what it was. This is an interesting area of resistance. It was headed up. Big bearish engulfing. I'm not sure if it would higher. The bullish month. Try to see. It's still way above this. Really moving it. You have that. If you're looking, so far it is right here. It's not very. Put it on a. I mean, if I was to buy Tesla, I would want to buy it. I think any price. Above 247 is high. If it does even go higher, price or gap here. Look on a weekly. And that bearish and ugly as well. A huge wick here, and more wicks up here. I think above $300 is quite high. So it doesn't go higher. And if I was to take it, you could get in at price. It'd be around 247. Maybe target $300 is too much. I was there to take profits 5. But I mean, if it kept going up and you got in at T7, close half, you're going up. I would set my stop below this zone. Let price come to me, let it get filled at T7 level, and then hold up my long position. So that would be my Tesla 70. And I remember when this was higher, but I know people don't want to hear that, but that is so $845 billion market cap, $1 billion revenue. That's Tesla. It's a bad buy. You could definitely average it, keep buying more. Odds are it'll pull up. Tesla alone is good. Supply a lot will do. Oh, this is so massive bully. Ton of, but it is headed into probably go till $13 engulfed. I think you're definitely, and so don't buy it immediately, but a little bit. It's a safe bet. Then it gets a little 40, 350. There's a ton of That's kind of where it might die off selling. But so far so good. I would get buy. I do think Facebook is actually, it used to, because I remember looking at quite a bit higher. It is overpriced net as a buy to be on your better. I would just try to find a deep price. There is a chance because this gap here, you're good to buy it at any price. If you got in at 317, 310, if price did decide to close, here's this gap. I think you could get in area, and 370 be a good buy up until 3. I think that would be a pretty decent trade. Nat for these fresh. Clearly still way above this. Is respecting area, $15. It functioned as resistance broke, came down. It's respect again. Price on the was not low above. This huge wick through the zone came back, and now, but it doesn't really want to go below 14. It's trying to figure out what to do as a last engulfing huge wick. Now this doji, this one's a little iffy. It's a great buy anymore. If you were to buy it, this definitely do not target above. What's above it. Did not like. I don't think you really want to short this yet, unless price came up to 440. Then it would be a short, but don't short it now. But there is a good lower at the 1 hour for a long time. And now it's a good bullish one. It's ended for, and it will head lower now. Only buy trade comes down to 15 for a buy. Even more ideal. Target this zone, and then even a little bit lower. So ideally this would be a better trade for now, and it's worth waiting out. I think it'd be a very good hook it. I would pretty short this. Don't like for me to buy this above. I would bank on it being rejected at 446 and selling and bought up Netflix. And we'll do one Starbucks. This is how you know we're in a real recession. Starbucks is finally come this moving in. So that's right at the moving average. And see there was in here, right above 1.3. Go above. To be honest, for Starbucks. To close up gonna suck bad, but in times high interest rates, people are gonna run out and buy $8 lattes as much as they used to. This would be my if price gets zone. Then I would consider here really safe bet, and then there's more if price breaks this area. Let's pretend it never comes back up this $100. If it breaks this, it's probably going to be 7. This is trade 1. If below this area, those are all very safe bets. I would shorting this stock is dying off. This week was bearish, as bad as I thought, but looking as of May, this super bearish engulfing these last yearly, yes, very minimal, back a long time. So 103 is your short. If it breaks below 100, 2, but now 3, and you're really good to short it after. It's breaking below. If it breaks below 100 bucks below this move, you're definitely 7. Be further if you want to hold. That is start, and that is the. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you learned something. Comment, sure to like.